It's a fairly well known fact that Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. In fact, it outshines the next brightest star, Canopus, by a factor of 2. Quite an astonishing star in human history, or at least for our present day. But what about the past? What happened before Sirius appeared on our stage? I'd say it's about time we found out, isn't it? Hi everyone, Vega here, and in today's video we're going to take a leap into history to marvel at 2 of the most incredible stars ever to play a role in human history. So, let's get to it. All of us folks lucky enough to be alive in 2024 are thought to represent nearly 7% of the total number of people who have ever lived. In fact, human history is thought to last about 200,000 years. Of course, in that time our skies have changed somewhat. Going back 90,000 years, or about half of human history, anyone looking up at the sky would have seen a different brightest star, Canopus. This is because Canopus is a much bigger star than Sirius, but it's also further away. Sirius is actually quite a newcomer in our local area, and it's only about 90,000 years ago that it turned from an ever-increasingly bright star to actually the brightest star of all in Earth's skies. Indeed, in 200,000 years in the future from now, Sirius will fade and Canopus will once again be the brightest star in our night sky, for the 4th time actually. Other stars like Aldebaran, between 420,000 and 210,000 years ago, and Capella, between 210 and 160,000 years ago, have also been the brightest star in our skies for a period of time. And sure, those folks on this small corner of the internet will probably have heard of those 2 stars, not least because they're still very bright indeed. Aldebaran remains at 14th brightest and Capella 6th. So that's it then, I hear you. That's the end of the video, isn't it? Well, yes, in terms of human history. I suppose we could go further back, say 750,000 years ago, when it's thought the beginning of Homo sapiens lineage began. Well, again, back then Canopus was still the brightest star in the sky. No, we're going to have to go way back in time, to a different epoch for our species. Ardipithecus is the earliest known genus of the human lineage and the likely ancestor of Australopithecus, a group closely related to and often considered ancestral to modern human beings. It's thought Ardipithecus lived between 5.8 million and 4.4 million years ago. It's possible also that I've mispronounced Ardipithecus, but I'm not a historian, so please don't be too harsh on me. Our skies, of course, have changed a lot since Ardipithecus walked the Earth. Back then, Canopus, Sirius, Aldebaran and Capella were just faint twinklings in the sky, and for the most part were completely unremarkable stars in every way. No, back then Earth had a much more impressive light show for us, or should I say Ardipithecus, to gaze at. Around 4.7 million years ago, the blue giant star of Epsilon Canis Majoris, also known of course as Adhara, was 34 light years away. Adhara of course is not a normal star in any way, it's a beast. More massive than Canopus and much brighter too. It was also around 100 times closer, so it doesn't take a genius to work out that Hadar was a very bright star indeed in our skies. And to be honest, that's an understatement. Hadar at perihelion, or closest approach to our solar system, reached an incredible apparent magnitude of -3.99, or for all intents and purposes -4. For reference, that's over 10 times brighter than Sirius. At its brightest, the planet Venus has an apparent magnitude of -4.6, so for the most part, other than a few odd weeks of the year, Hadar would have been roughly the same brightness as Venus. Now, next time you get a chance to look at our sister world in the sky, you'll probably realise if you look at it particularly through a telescope that it's not a star in any way. Venus is so bright it shines day and night. As long as it doesn't venture too close to the sun, it can be seen most of the day, if not all day long. Yes, that's right, Hadar would also have been a permanent feature in our sky, day and night. Blue giant Hadar watched us while we, or at least our ancestors, watched it. It's absolutely incredible to think about, isn't it? In a strange twist of astronomical fate, as Hadar eventually faded away to 3rd magnitude below 0, the light show didn't end there. Another upstart, this time incredibly again in Canis Major, the star of Beta Canis Majoris, or Mirzam, decided it wasn't going to let Hadar steal all the limelight, and it pushed its way into the 4th magnitude below 0, -3.65 to be precise. Mirzam is another ginormous B-type star, more massive even than Hadar. Mirzam carries a designation of B1, 2 to 3, meaning it's even hotter than Hadar, and frankly, it's almost an O-class star. By my own calculations, Mirzam at perihelion was about 120 light years away, so further than Adhara, but a more powerful star. Indeed, Mirzam took over from Hadar as the brightest star in our sky approximately 4.5 million years ago, shining brightly at a maximum apparent magnitude, as I've just mentioned, of -3.65, or this time more than 7 times as bright as Sirius is today. Although it was substantially dimmer than Venus, it was still comfortably bright enough to hold its own in daylight for the most part. Jupiter and Mars, for comparison, never passed -2.94 apparent magnitudes, and Mars for the most part is much dimmer than that. Mirzam remained on its throne for just shy of 800,000 years, before again fading away enough to let Canopus finally take over. Canopus's trajectory through our Milky Way is actually much more similar to our Sun, hence it's sticking around for much longer than either Adhara or Mirzam. Unlike Canopus, it seems our little corner of the galaxy just wasn't a big enough stage for these two blue giant stars. I find it quite incredible and interesting to think that the constellation of Canis Major still holds these 3 stars: Adhara, Epsilon Canis Majoris, Mirzam, Beta Canis Majoris, and of course Sirius, Alpha. And these 3 stars have literally been 3 of the most important stars in our skies, other than the Sun, for pretty much all foreseeable history. The great dog, it seems, certainly does have a big bite after all. In today's final graphic, we imagine a scene with Adhara and Mirzam in today's positions, but shining at their maximum magnitude. We see the star of Sirius, and slowly developing, Adhara and Mirzam take over, shining almost as brightly as the planet Venus. As day begins to break, most of the stars disappear, and eventually even Sirius, but these 2 remain there, hanging in our skies permanently, gazing and wondering perhaps about our own system. We see also in the scene our ancestor Ardipithecus gazing up and wondering what on earth those 2 twinkling things are in the sky. We must bear in mind also that both Mirzam and Adhara would have shone in the sky at roughly the same time, so although when either star reached its peak the other was substantially dimmer at the time, both would still have been extremely bright together there in the sky. Mirzam and Adhara are 2 incredibly large blue stars that ventured close to our solar system many millions of years ago. In their heyday, both stars outshone anything other than planet Venus, the Moon and the Sun. As they approached our system, Epsilon Canis Majoris or Adhara almost reached an incredible -4 apparent magnitude, while Beta Canis Majoris or Mirzam was still an astonishingly bright -3.65. The 2 stars were in the sky at the same time together, just as they are now, but the light show would have been something different altogether. Walking the earth at the same time was the ancestor of Ardipithecus, now standing stood upright on 2 feet, like a modern human, in much the same way as the 2 stars Adhara and Mirzam shone in the sky. It's quite poetic, isn't it? Perhaps history is chuckling at us, and we wonder what other delights the skies of our Earth will see in the long-term future. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you'd like to support the channel further, you could consider joining the channel, which comes with some membership perks, or alternatively buy me a coffee, and I'll link this in the description. Thanks to those of you who have already done so, Chatsworth 1979 and America West 90. Let me know any ideas for videos you have in the comments below. Take really good care of yourselves and look after your friends and family well, and I'll see you on the next one.